Luka Doncic was nearly the unanimous Rookie of the Year, almost became an all-star in his first season, and somehow he's gotten significantly better. Luka's counting stats are insane for anyone, let alone a 20-year-old who legally can't drink at the end of his shift. He's averaging over 30 points a game, which ranks 3rd in the NBA, and is up nearly 9 points a game from his rookie year mark. He's dishing out 9.2 assists per game, which is 2nd in the NBA, and up 3 assists per game from last year. And he's grabbing 9.8 rebounds per game, which ranks 15th in the NBA, and he's up 2 boards per game from last year. And Luka is only playing 1 more minute per game compared to last year. So let's take a look into those numbers, specifically his scoring, because I think I found the one area that has taken Luka Doncic to the next level. Looking back, last season the Dallas Mavericks were constructed in an odd way for a player like Luka to succeed. Wesley Matthews and Harrison Barnes made sense as 3-and-D wings, but they took possessions away from Luka with ineffective post-ups and isolation plays that bogged down the offense. DeAndre Jordan looked the part as a rim-rolling protect-the-rim center, but his defense is well overstated at this point in his career. And Luka was paired with Dennis Smith Jr. in the backcourt, a combination that had potential but was pretty much doomed from the start. Since Luka joined a team with DSJ as the focal point instead of DSJ joining a team with Luka as the established #1 option, it made it hard for Dennis to adjust, and it's not surprising that all 4 of the Mavs non-Luka starters from last season are all gone. Before the Porzingis trade, Luka was averaging 77.5 touches per game, about the same as Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Kevin Durant on the Warriors. But Luka wasn't on a team with multiple All-Stars. This season, his touches have skyrocketed to 96 per game, the most in the league. Last year, his time of possession was pretty high at 6.5 seconds per possession, which was 9th in the league. But this year, he's at 8.9, 2nd in the league only to Trae Young. So he has the ball a lot more than he did last year. Usually, more volume tends to lead to less efficiency, but Luka has actually become more efficient this year. He's shooting the same percentage from 3-point range, but his field goal percentage has increased by nearly 5 percentage points. There are 41 players taking at least 10 2-point shots per game, and Luka has the 2nd highest shooting percentage on those shots behind only Giannis. And he's taking 8.1 shots per game inside of 8 feet from the rim and shooting almost 67%. That's a number that only 7-footers get to. The only players shooting a better percentage on those shots on similar number of attempts are Giannis and Anthony Davis. Luka has seemingly mastered the paint area. He's so good in tight spaces. I'm sure you've seen this move where he fakes out the defender by pretending to pass the ball, putting it on their back, and then going up or actually dishing it to a cutting teammate.
Wouldn't go down. He rebounds his own miss. He's going to go back up. He fakes Gobert out. Oh, man, Wesley Matthews, you should see the smile on his face.
But he has all kinds of moves and hesitation plays like that inside the paint, which makes it a nightmare for defenders, especially since the Mavericks can spread the floor. Every regular rotation player, except for Dwight Powell, is taking at least 1.5 threes per game or more.
9-point game. San Antonio's chewed up half of Dallas's biggest lead in this game, but 1 of 10 on threes for Harden.
Low percentage.
Luka.
Last year, where Dallas really struggled at home.
Luka sidesteps the defense in the paint, had 5 trips into the paint.
I think I've said this every single Luka video I've ever done on this channel or on Free Dawkins, but Luka isn't the most athletic player. He's not slow, but he doesn't have the explosion to just get by everyone like De'Aaron Fox or John Wall. How he attacks the paint and gets to these spots where he's most effective is by being patient.
Yeah, you can't zone when those 2 guys are on the floor, that's for sure.
Luka change of direction to get into the paint and right back into the game, attacking on 2 more to the 17 points that he had in the first.
Luka gets a lot of credit, but collectively these guys have really done a good job of staying the course. Luka again on the inside.
With a foul too.
If it's rust or what, but you want to make those bunnies like that.
Coming down the lane, Luka.
But to make it worse on defenses, Luka doesn't need to get all the way to the rim. His floater game has improved significantly year to year. According to NBA.com stats, Luka shot 33.3% on 129 driving floating shots his rookie year. And this year, he's shooting 53.4% on 58 attempts of the same type of shots. That's an incredible step up. If you have a good floater, you're basically unstoppable. A lot of people talk about scoring from 3 levels on the court, from 3-point range, inside, and then the mid-range game. Luka doesn't take mid-range pull-up jump shots. He doesn't need to take them because these floaters covered that area enough to put pressure on the defense.
Got in a real nice groove in that second quarter.
Here's Luka, change of direction, in the paint, tosses it in.
It's Aldridge. Pretty nifty finish that time. Back down.
Luka inside. Now here is Luka, and it's a drive inside and a little floater that's too sweet to be sour. That's how good that was.
Luka averages 17.8 drives per game, the 5th most in the NBA. There are 17 players driving at least 15 times per game right now. Luka leads them all in field goal percentage at 65.5% off drives. Westbrook and Harden are number 2 and 3 at 58%. So there's a big gap between Luka and the rest of the league when it comes to driving.
All-star, 11 seasons in Oklahoma City, and now his first year with Houston.
There was a time where he was a good free throw shooter.
Yep. Several seasons over 80%.
Yeah. Slowly gone down.
Luka accelerates and then goes all the way.
He's found his way here in Phoenix. Kaminsky has decent numbers for a change. Look at Luka.
Last year, Luka drove 14.7 times per game and only shot 48.7% on shots off those drives. Overall, he's scoring 5 more points per game because he's shooting just better off the bounce. But he's also taking 2.5 more free throw attempts per game, which largely come off of these drives too. And his free throw percentage has jumped 10 percentage points, overall adding almost 3 more points per game. So just by improving his drives, his floater game, and getting to the line more, Luka is scoring 7.5 more points per game than last year, almost all of his 9 points per game improvement. It's not the only reason his game has taken another step, but Luka is dominating the NBA with his drives, and it's opening up everything else. Comment below, should Luka Doncic be in the running for most valuable player